What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for week 27 of the Serie A predictions. It is the series where we get the most perfect scores. And also, as a thank you to all of you for watching, remember, I am doing another $100 giveaway over on the Patreon. Like I said, as a thank you for all of the massive amounts of support over there. So if you want to check that out, use the link in the description because I'll be drawing and announcing the winner tomorrow. So this is your last chance to get involved with the giveaway. Obviously, there will be more in the future because the support's been amazing, but this time you've basically just got today. So click the link in the description. I'll talk more about the Patreon later on in the video, but now let's get into the Serie A with a Friday night fixture between Parma and Cagliari. Parma with a massive result last week, beating AC Milan. So like I said, here it is, Parma up against Cagliari. We did predict Cagliari would draw against Lazio, but I did not predict that Parma would beat AC Milan. I thought AC Milan would concede, but I thought they'd be able to win, and that is the first league defeat for AC Milan in the last 6 months. And that's pretty crazy because the league has only been going for like 6 months and a week. They lost on the first game week to Cremonese, and they just lost for only the second time this year. So you look at these two teams, Parma 3 wins in 3, Cagliari 1 point in 3, and you think, hey, Parma's at home, easy win. I just don't see it that way. Yes, Parma are going through a good patch and Cagliari are not, but look before the last 3 games and it was identical the other way. Cagliari had won their last 3 games and Parma had 1 point from their last 3 games. So from their last 6 games, they've both got 10 points. So it's not as contrasting as it looks. I know recent form is important, but I actually think this is going to be a close game. I make Cagliari a slightly better team than Parma, and they currently sit 3 points behind them in the league. A win here would be great for either team. I think they're going to settle on a 1-1 draw, and I really like the odds. It is my second highest odds tip of the video. It's both teams to score and under 3.5 goals at odds of 3. So that's 1-1 or 2-1 either way. And as you can see by the odds, the bookies don't really know who's going to win, and I could see a 2-1 either way. Parma beating AC Milan, said 1-0. They beat Verona 2-1, which we did correctly predict, and they beat Bologna 1-0. So brilliant wins for Parma. Cagliari losing to Roma, losing to Lecce, that is poor, and drawing with Lazio, as we said, which is not a terrible result by any means. After this, it is Como up against Lecce. Lecce lost to Inter Milan 2-0. You would have seen this on the Friday live show. Someone actually came into the chat. They said, I've got $100. I need to win $200 back. I need to double my money. I don't know the circumstances there, but they're like, I need to double my money. What is the best pick for the weekend? I went through my selections and I concluded that Man City and Inter Milan to win at 2.27 was by far the best. And I had people warning me off Inter Milan against Lecce because obviously Inter are behind in the Champions League at the moment. They lost 3-1 to Bodo Glimt, and maybe Lecce could sneak a draw, but no, I was certain that Inter Milan would beat Lecce. They did. They won 2-0. Como as well, they got their win. They beat Juventus 2-0, which is a phenomenal result. It's close to Parma beating AC Milan, but I think more people would have predicted Como to beat Juve than Parma beating AC Milan. I don't think anyone would have realistically put their money, at least, on Parma beating AC Milan. But Como look good. Lecce do not. They are out of the relegation zone. Fiorentina with the game in hand. Currently, at the time of recording, they're playing Pisa, so there's going to be points for 1 or 2 of these 2 teams. I expect Fiorentina to win that game, but Como, I think they're going to win here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. The tip is Como to win at odds of 1.42. After this, it is Verona up against Napoli. Napoli lost to Atalanta 2-1. I had both teams to score and under 3.5 goals there on the Patreon. Came in, lovely stuff. And Verona lost to Sassuolo 3-0. I predicted 2-0 in the last video. As you guys know, I did tip Sassuolo to win at around about, it was 1.8. And Sassuolo did a great job. They absolutely battered them. So I think this would be a straightforward win to Napoli. I'm going for a 2-0 win. And I think the odds are good enough for Napoli to win at 1.53. You could double your money for backing Como and Napoli to win. And they're playing Verona and Lecce, 2 of the worst teams in the Serie A. So if you want to double your money in Serie A, I do think that Como and Napoli is the way to go. Moving on to the San Siro, it is Inter Milan up against Genoa. Genoa, they got a great win against Torino, 3-0. I did have Genoa to win at odds of 2.3 over on the Patreon, and yeah, they smashed it. They were winning, and then Torino got a red card, and it only got easier for Genoa there. They did draw 0-0 with Cremonese before that, so it was important to get a result against Torino, and that really helped them because they were 3 points behind Torino, so that draw saw them leapfrog them. Inter Milan, comfortably top now of Serie A, 10 points ahead of AC Milan after they dropped points to Parma, and it's all green. By the time this is played, of course, we will know the result of the Champions League, Inter Milan and Bodo Glimt. I think the Inter will beat Bodo Glimt. The question is, will they do enough to qualify? That remains to be seen. But I think they win here against Genoa. Genoa always good for a goal, so I'm going for a 3-1 win to Inter Milan. But as you can see here, the odds for Inter Milan to win are really low. But like I said, Genoa are good for a goal. Inter Milan, they certainly will be tired after playing Bodo Glimt, they're a very high-octane team. I had a comment on my Champions League video stating that Bodo Glimt had ran 20% more than their opponents, and they do. They run so much. They run teams ragged. So Inter Milan might be a little bit leggy, and that's why I think they could concede a goal, and it's lent it to the highest tip of the video. Inter Milan to win and both teams to score at odds of 3.2. I think that's really good odds and such a big increase from Inter Milan to win at 1.29. You'd almost think, why not bet Inter Milan win to 0 and Inter Milan and both teams to score rather than betting Inter Milan to win outright? Because if you think Inter Milan's going to win, you get more money back if both teams score than if you just back Inter Milan with both of those picks. So possibly worth considering. After this, it's Cremonese up against AC Milan. Another L for AC Milan. And who else but Cremonese do they have to play in the next game? The team that handed them their first L back in August. Now, luckily for AC Milan, Cremonese are in a poor run of form. I'm going to say that they get a goal. Like I said, obviously they beat AC Milan in the reverse leg. So maybe it could happen. AC Milan, no, they're out of the Serie A title race realistically, but if they want to secure Champions League football next season, they should be getting a win here. I'm going to go for a 2-1, and I think the odds are actually okay for AC Milan to win at 1.5, so I'm going to go for it, 2-1 to AC Milan. After this, it is Sassuolo up against Atalanta. Atalanta, by this point, I'm expecting will have been knocked out of the Champions League because they're currently 2-0 down to Dortmund on aggregate. And they play a Sassuolo side who did dispatch of Verona in the previous game week 3-0. I think the odds are about right. I do make Atalanta favourites, but I'm going to go with maybe a bit of my heart on this one. I do like Sassuolo. I like Atalanta as well, but I'm just going to go for a 2-2 draw. Sassuolo have had some good results against Atalanta recently. I think they actually beat them 3-0 in the last game, so you never really know. I'm going for Sassuolo 2, Atalanta 2, and the tip is going to be Sassuolo +2 and both teams to score at 2.1. That was a very good tip. I've only tipped that, I think, maybe once in my life, and it was last week, Osasuna against Real Madrid. I said Osasuna +2 and both teams to score at odds of 2, and Osasuna actually went on and beat Real Madrid, which we'll talk more about in the video later on today. So Sassuolo +2. Atalanta could win by a single goal, but I don't see Atalanta winning by more than a goal, and I do think both teams score. So for me, at above evens, I think that's a really smart, likely tip to come in. After this, it's Torino up against Lazio. Torino 1 win in their last 7. Lazio 1 win in their last 6. If you disregard this win here against Verona at the start of January. So this is quite a tricky one. I can see why the odds are the way they are with regards to the goal line. I'm not quite sure why Torino are home favourites here. So I'm actually going to go for a 1-0 win to Lazio. However, the tip is going to be under 2.5 goals at 1.57. I think it'll be low scoring. I think Lazio double chance and under 3.5 goals is really good as well. So take a look at that. I personally would side with Lazio in one way, shape or form. They've lost about 30% of their games this season, whereas Torino have lost 50% of their games this season. So I think the smart pick is to side with Lazio in some way. So I'm going for a 1-0 win. After this, it's Pisa up against Bologna. Now, we don't know the result of Fiorentina up against Pisa, but like I said, I'm expecting Fiorentina to win that. Bologna, they do have a pretty tricky game against Udinese. They should win, maybe they draw, but this one I think is going to be another step too far for Pisa. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Bologna. I think by this point, Bologna would have knocked out Bran in the Europa League as well. And I'm going to go for Bologna double chance and under 3.5 goals at 1.57. The odds are really low, but Bologna are, of course, favourites. Pisa have won 1 game all season. Bologna have won 9. But Pisa have managed a good amount of draws. They've got 12 draws this season, which is a lot. So that's why I've gone with double chance and under, because I could see a 0-0 or a 1-1. But ultimately, Bologna should be winning this game. After this, it is Roma up against Juventus. I was very, very close to going for a Roma win here. We were close to the correct score prediction. I said 2-0 Roma. It was 3-0 thanks to a late third goal. But Juventus lost to Como, as we said, and they, of course, lost to Inter Milan. And by this point, I expect they will have been officially eliminated from the Champions League at the hands of Galatasaray. But I'm going for Roma 1, Juventus 1. And the tip, just in case it's a little higher scoring, I've gone a bit more conservative. It's both teams to score and under 4.5 goals at odds of 2.3. I think those are really good odds for a 1-1, a 2-2, a 2-1 either way, or a 3-1 either way. That is a lot of score lines that I could see coming in. Obviously, Roma, if they go and do what Roma do and win 2-0, then that would be slightly frustrating. But I'm going to just go for a 1-1. If I had to pick a winner, though, I would go for Roma. After this, it's Udinese up against Fiorentina. I think this is actually going to be quite an exciting game. You look at these two teams, you think maybe not super inspiring, maybe not that high scoring, but I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 Fiorentina win here. The last meetings between the two teams have seen both teams scoring. There's been quite a lot of goals, so I'm going for it again. I'm going for a 2-1, and the tip is actually both teams to score at 1.8. That means it could go either way, could be a score draw, but I've just got a funny feeling that Fiorentina can win this one. It would be a great win, especially if it's off the back of beating Pisa as well. So I'm going for Fiorentina to win 2-1. There's a summary of my picks. It's going to be a really interesting week. I think there's a lot of value to be had in the likes of Como at home. They're far better than Lecce. Napoli away. They're far better than Verona. Those two right there, like I said, a winner's double to double your money. I think that's a really, really good look. I think Inter Milan will be able to handle Genoa. Who knows what's going to happen between Cremonese, AC Milan, Sassuolo, Atalanta. It's going to be a very, very exciting week. And of course, then we have Roma and Juventus to finish. So make sure you let me know your predictions down in the comments below. And flashed up on the screen all the people that are supporting me over on the Patreon and who, as a result, have entrance into the $100 giveaway. If you want to be entered into every giveaway that we do over there, get a shout out in every single video, access to exclusive members, tips and accumulators, direct messaging access to me, the group chats, and of course, my league and predictions, which are exclusive over on Patreon, then please do click that top link in the description. Go to patreon.com/thefull90. We did, like I said in a video a few weeks ago, reach our member goal, and that is why I'm doing this giveaway, but it's looking like we're going to stay over that member goal. So as long as we're over that goal, I will do giveaways every single month rather than every few months like I've been doing this season, because the support from you lot has been phenomenal. The group chat has never been this active. The community is great. A lot of you know each other as well as knowing me, and I couldn't have asked for a better community. So thank you for the support. Check it out using the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.